Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TQETI Live from the inside of the Tech Queen Elite Training Institute. I'm one of your hosts, Miel Hurd-Petra. To tell you a little bit about me, I am a senior college student majoring in psychology, and I've got a passion for multimedia production.
Hello, and my name is Grace Vasquez Rodriguez, and I am a double major in college, also a senior. I am a business and math major.
Wow. All right, so for our very first guest, we had to go big or go home. This is a man whose journey is rooted in humility, service, and a deep belief in the power of small businesses. Saul Ramos is the Nevada District Director for the U.S. Small Business Administration, where he leads efforts to support over 300,000 small businesses across the state. But long before the title, Saul's story began with values passed down from his mother. Over a 20-year federal career, he's got many stories to tell, from international development to economic outreach, or becoming the first to complete a major executive leadership program with the Los Angeles Federal Executive Board. Saul isn't just a public servant, he's a bridge builder, and we're happy to have him with us today.
Wow, I'm going to have you write my bio next time. That is so cool. Thanks for the kind words.
Of course.
So just to tell you a little bit about the show, we're just going to be hearing about local business professionals and talk about their journey with them.
Right, so I actually just followed you while you were getting the tour from the Tech Queen herself, who you guys will hear from a little bit later, and you have such a warmth about you. I really see it, like whether it's in the eye contact and the way that you interact with people, so thank you so much for giving your time. So we're going to dive right in. The first question today, before the fancy title and the big office, who was Saul Ramos?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Los Angeles. I grew up, I'm the youngest of 5, so, you can play how you want. Some say the youngest doesn't get all the good stuff that the older siblings do, but I had a very loving mother and father and siblings. My mom actually passed away when I was about 15 and a half, but I was blessed to have very caring family. My brothers and sisters, really united us, and I come from, you could say, parents that immigrated to the United States, so the entrepreneurship spirit was alive, I would say, in our home, because many times folks that come from another country are looking at ways to make a livelihood. And I think that livelihood and the entrepreneurship spirit cross-pollinate very, very beautifully. Yeah. And I've been blessed to be around a lot of incredible entrepreneurs, and most importantly, incredible human beings that I've been part of.
Wow, and I love that too, because my mom, she's my rock. I think when I was at my lowest point in life, it was like 5 years ago, I had no direction. I just gotten out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. My mom was the person who was there with me every day. I'm buried under whatever in my bed. She's picking me up, making me breakfast, and she helped me to be where I am now. So I relate to you in that sense, and just shout out to all the moms out there, right?
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about it, and how your culture has a lot to do with you, and like how immigrants are entrepreneurs and stuff. So I actually wanted to ask you how your culture has been a source of strength or inspiration throughout your career.
Yeah, I would say I think the culture plays a big role because it allows us to be open-minded, right? And I think as an entrepreneur, you need to be open-minded, yes. Right? If you're closed-minded, good luck, because what I see within the culture and entrepreneurship is that you have to take everything that you get as an opportunity to grow, yes. Right? Oftentimes they say, the best way to improve your team is to improve yourself. So I think that allows for folks in any leadership capacity or an entrepreneurship capacity to be able to grow. And the culture, I think, plays a huge role, because oftentimes entrepreneurs see that opportunity within their culture. Yeah. And I'll say, for example, in the language, right? Oftentimes they say when you speak to someone in their language, you connect at a whole different level. Yes. So an entrepreneur speaks, in my opinion, they're bilingual, especially if they speak Spanish or any other language, but then they also speak the business language. So it's a really good way of blending culture and business and entrepreneurship.
Saul, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and a few laughs with us today. Thank you also for touring the Tech Queen Elite Training Institute. TQETI Live is here to spotlight the stories that power our communities, one guest at a time. Let's cut to the next segment where we'll hear from Galaxy Glenn and the tech queen herself.
Thank you so much, Grace. I tell you, you and Mio, you guys were awesome. We have an awesome guest, and that's what makes this thing so special. So I'm going to let you know now, after seeing you, I've got to add something to your name, Saul Smooth Ramos. Because you're smooth, very smooth. And thank you for being here. And one of the things that I'm pleased about is how you engage with the students, and that carries on just from who you are. When I was asked to be a part of this mixer, Coach D just threw me a fishing pole and said, "Go catch fish." And I saw the biggest fish in there, and I said, "Whoop!" And whatever happens, you're a tremendous part of the success and why we're here today. So, California bred, we have some commonalities. Love baseball.
Oh.
Now, what position did you play in baseball?
Oh, I third base.
I was second, and I pitched. I pitched a couple of times until a line drive came at me. I said, "No, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Just keep me at second base." So that's something we love. We love the Dodgers.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Go Dodgers. So it's interesting because you're always someone needs something from. And I watched you on the panel, and I just saw how eloquent and how smooth you were. You never pretended to know something you didn't know, and you never pretended not to know what you do know. And that's what we call keeping it real. And having said that, I think it's important to keep it real. Yours truly, Galaxy Glenn, getting ready to pass it over to the tech queen herself, Coach D, who is just our fearless leader, and we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of
Make it happen.
why we're here and what we're all about at Tech Queen. And here she is, no other than Coach D, Tech Queen.
Well, thank you, Galaxy, and thank you to Grace and to Miel. And I just want to say, wow, thank you. I echo everyone else's thank you, Saul, for being here today and for just sharing and hopefully inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs who will not be afraid to jump out there and realize they're not alone. And I say that because I was with the body of the ecosystem for the Department of Defense, which is the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification Ecosystem. And we just had a wonderful announcement from our new Chief Security Officer for the Department of Defense that CMMC is here to stay. And what that means is we're going to be helping to produce a lot of business owners who will be business owners for the first time. So I'm going to first start by saying, what would you say to that business owner who is just stepping out there as an entrepreneur for the first time, who feels like, I'm going to be at this all alone. I'm going to be by myself. I don't know about this world of business. Are there resources out there? What can I do? What would you tell that person to encourage them? Don't be afraid. There's help.
Normal. Those feelings about, I'm going to be alone, I don't know where to go, how do I get started? It's normal. We've seen it, we've heard it, we've been part of that journey. So, but the beautiful thing is that the next phase of it is what really makes the magic happen. You know, that's where I think you find, and that strength is forged, where you're gonna say, I can do this. And just earlier we were walking through and you were showing me the spaces and those affirmations, I can do it, that you all put within the test. It's very much similar to what an entrepreneur is. And to layer that on, what you find is that other entrepreneurs inspire those business owners, right? We've seen that. We've had a lot of workshops where folks show up and they tell us, I'm taking this class because someone else told me that they took that class and it helped them. So beyond the feelings of being scared, I don't know where to go, the loneliness, then you got the other phase where you're just kind of speaking to yourself, and then you find the huge support that exists once you break through.
Yes, wow.
And SBA has been part of that with many business owners through our network of resource partners. It's not just the SBA, it's the network and the ecosystem that exists that allows that.
That balance, Wow, that's great. Now, there are individuals that will be starting businesses for whatever reason. They recently got unemployed, or They, don't want all the rules and strict, whatever that comes with being an employee. So they're jumping out there and they look at their bank account and say, oh my gosh, do I have enough money for this? Or they may not even have the funding that's needed to start that business. What resources, how can the Small Business Administration help that new startup business? And I'm speaking, every question I ask is really from that point of cybersecurity, because we want to help support this DoD ecosystem in that cyber accreditation body. So there's a lot of new businesses that will be started, particularly in the area of cybersecurity, but they're going to need funding, and they're going to need to support the business.
Yeah, well, SBA plays a lot of different roles. We wear many different hats.
Yeah.
I'll start with some of the basic ones that I think many businesses have been able to benefit. So we spoke earlier about how you're not alone and there's a network of folks.
Yes.
So SBA plays a role of business development, counseling, advising at no cost. And we do it through 4 partners that we have. We have the Small Business Development Centers, and many of them are tied into higher education. So we have University of Reno, University of Las Vegas that has 2 small business development centers.
Okay.
We have a women business center focused for women entrepreneurs, but if you were asked the director, it's open to everyone, including men. It just has women business centers as a title. Because there's a whole different level of connection. When a woman entrepreneur speaks with another woman advisor, there's just a different connection. And I'm sorry, we may not be able to get through it, right? But it's all good.
Yeah.
Then we have the Veteran Business Outreach Center, focusing on the veteran community. Same thing. When another veteran speaks to another veteran, it's a different level of connection. So we have that in place. And then we have SCORE, which are, many of them are retired executives, but we're very blessed that in our chapter, it's a very diverse group. We have folks that are retired. We have folks that are active.
Okay.
We have, it's a very diverse group with many different sets of expertise. So within these 4 partners, Success Business Development, you can get assistance with your business plan if you're starting. So at any level, at any stage that you may be in your business, you'll be able to get support, business plan, or you're looking to maybe find a marketing plan, or maybe you want to export. Maybe you already are in business, but you're thinking globally. How can I get my product or services to outside of this country? So think about business development.
Yeah.
That's SBA. We have classes, training, workshops, online. You can do all that. And then to your question about the capital, that's a big one, right? We all need that capital.
Yes.
We all need it yesterday. SBA plays a role as a guarantor. So there's a relationship between the financial institutions or the banks and SBA. So SBA is going to guarantee a percentage of the loan with the bank, right? Why is that important to the bank? Because it's going to reduce the risk. If you have a guarantee, if you're going in,
That's
you
right.
can say as a public-private partnership, and there's a guarantee behind it, we just reduce that risk for the lender. What's the benefit for the borrower is the idea is that the lender, because ultimately it's the lender or the bank that's putting the money,
Yes.
they're going to put more capital in our community, right? So it's oversimplifying it, but there's programs that we have, the loan program called 7A, that focuses pretty much, it's a flagship program. The use of proceeds could be for working capital, purchasing real estate, equipment, you name it. The list is quite long. And then we have another program called 504, which is intended more for commercial real estate and business commercial real estate. So it's the business purchasing that building or fixed assets. There's a lot of large equipment that is sometimes needed in a business, so the terms are a little bit longer. So there's pros and cons to both. 7A tends to have a bit more of that variable rate. The 504 has more of the fixed rate. The benefits, you can say, it's lower down payments for both of them. Nevertheless, the bank is going to see, are you going to be able to pay me back? It's going to come down to, are you able to service the debt no matter which loan program you get to choose? The reason some folks end up using the SBA lending programs is because oftentimes they don't qualify for the conventional, right? Or they don't have that much of a large down payment, or maybe they don't have the collateral, or they don't have the credit score, so they tend to swing a little bit towards the SBA. The bank tends the bank will work with them. They still have to meet all the eligibility requirements, and that's a long conversation, but it's oversimplifying it, how SBA plays a role in the business development, in the financing space, and then we get involved in the government contracting. Once you have your business established, think about it. Why wouldn't you want to do business with the government? The government is one of the world's largest buyers. They purchase pretty much anything or everything for products and services. So then we help businesses get into government contracting through certification programs that we have. So there's certifications for women-owned, certifications for veterans, there's certifications, it's called the 8A program for socially economically disadvantaged, so there's a little bit of that ties into it. And then we have another one called HubZone. So within those 4 programs, the government is helping to level the playing field. And we do that by ensuring that contracts are set aside for small businesses, and contracts are set aside for those 4 certifications. So we got business development, we got capital, and then we have government contracting. So that's just a little bit of the basics, but boy, we get involved with advocacy, we get involved with innovation, we get involved with exporting, so there's a lot. SBA is quite a big role within the small business.
I want to jump in because the water's warm. Coach, he said a couple of buzzwords, assuring and certification. And our foundation, what we stand on is to train, certify, teach, and employ. And that's so important. Not just train, teach, and certify, but give these kids, young adults, older adults, an opportunity to be an apprentice within a workforce, to get them in there, not just like, okay, you're done, good luck out there. So that is one of the arms that we are so focused on, is to get employers to make a commitment with the Department of Labor to consider take one of the students for a year or 2,000 hours and have him or her to have an opportunity to assist their business where their need is. And Coach, you could talk about those needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cybersecurity is our main focus, but we have 3: cybersecurity, AI digital marketing, as well as help desk, because we realize no business will be in business if they don't have a proper digital marketing campaign.
Right.
No business will stay in business if they don't have a solid cybersecurity framework and foundation. And then the help desk is one that we come in and support them in, let our students have that training ground, if you will, if that small business is too small that they don't have an IT department. So those are the 3 that we train, certify, and employ in. And businesses that are a part of the overall ecosystem, for whether they're in government or no matter what industry they're in. To your point, that is our 3 pillars.
Yeah, that is important.
That is important. Now, one thing I didn't hear is, I know we have veterans. I heard just a couple target populations that are state served, but what about those that are disabled that are not like a veteran? Or is there a community is there a community or I don't know, program that will help those? You met some of our students earlier that are quote unquote on the spectrum, and if any of them want to be entrepreneur, they're very creative, they're very innovative, and if we want to support them in starting their own business, is there a resource that they can use within the SBA, or are they kind of grouped in with the overall populations? Because obviously there's some additional assistance needed for those populations. Does that make sense?
It does. And the short answer is that everything that I mentioned is going to be available for everyone.
Yes.
Right? When there are these requests, then SBA will work with an entrepreneur to ensure that we're providing the adequate level of services. So for example, we had an entrepreneur that reached out to us that they were hard of hearing. So we were able to bring in a sign language translator to be able to benefit from all of the resources that I just mentioned. So there is that level of support that exists as a whole. And I like what you all shared about the cybersecurity, because I've been in different panels and different conversations, and I remember an analogy that they share with me, and this applies to all small business owners, right? So much of these cyber attacks that are happening to the large corporations, what makes us think that it's not going to happen to small businesses? And it's happening. And during that conversation, someone said, do you sleep with your door open, or do you sleep with your window open, right? And of course the audience said, well, absolutely not. Well, the thought process, well, that's kind of what you're doing when you don't have all these
I like
level
that.
of measures of cybersecurity.
Yes.
Not just the large corporation, but small businesses.
Yes.
So it's that changing that mindset,
Yeah.
even
Right.
even if it's a small layer, maybe it's just one lock that you put on there, right,
Yeah.
on your window or on your door.
Yes.
But it's that mentality of what are you doing to protect, one, your small business, and two, the customers. I don't know about you all, but often I was speaking to my wife yesterday, and it's like, boy, within the last 2 years, I've gotten a few letters from large corporations that said, hey, we got attacked, you know, your credit or whatnot, we're gonna provide you 2 years of free credit reporting. But I go back to that with the sense of small businesses are also vulnerable. We all
Yeah.
are.
We have a shared vision, Coach and I and our team here, is that why wait till you get into an accident to get insurance? Get insured first. And that's what cybersecurity, one of the things we focus on, the threats and the vulnerabilities. And a trained and skilled, competent students will be able to handle that in a very meaningful and adequate way. And this is what the Coach and Uncle, we definitely drill home the significance of cybersecurity and getting somebody on your team to handle your finances, your personal business. You're in the game. You're vulnerable to be attacked if you have a business, if you just have a name, as they copy your profiles, and it's spooky. A lot of people just figure they could turn their head and it'll go away. So cybersecurity is cutting edge, and AI digital marketing as well. And what our Nevada Help Desk is epic, because we're the rock. We're the ones that say we got you. And I wanted to ask this question because I know we're getting close to wrap up. Is there, what would you say to the listener who's inspired by you talking about small business? What is the preparation before they come to you?
Preparation, I would say, one, being committed. You know, beyond the preparation, being committed, because it's going to be a bumpy road. So the bumpy road is going to come at you, and we do, of course, ask that you take some time to really assess what it is that you want to do. But I think that's the beautiful part about SBA, because I mentioned earlier, at any stage that you might be in your business, there's folks that come in and want to sit and speak with a counselor and say, hey, I have this idea. So how do you get that idea into a plan? And our counselors help with that, right? Our business advisors will help with that. They will give them all the tools, and they will give them, you can say, homework assignments, right? So we're asking the full commitment from their part and our part, you know, and it's that 100% commitment. And I say this all the time, you know, I'm very blessed to be married to my wife, and I'm always curious to see how it is that you stay in a relationship for so long. So a couple of months ago, I met this couple, and they were married for 50 years. So the quick question I asked, well, what's the secret, right? We all want to know the secret, at least I do. And the husband, really quick, happy wife,
Happy life,
right? And
Yes,
and
dear.
that was a quick answer. I gotta give it to the wife. She looked at me and said, honey, you know, oftentimes you're gonna hear in a marriage that it's a 50-50 split, 50%. She's like, they got it wrong. It's 100% the other part and 100% you. So to your answer, we're asking for 100% commitment.
There you go.
When a business owner comes in, because we're asking 100% from our business advisors. And when you got that level of relationship, that formula, the good things happen, and we've seen it. We got stories to tell where folks that were 100% committed are excelling and committed to
That's huge.
to the counseling, committed to the workshops, committed to doing things right, committed to the finances, committed to the cybersecurity. All these nuggets of information. Ultimately, as an entrepreneur, you get what you think is going to help your business, right? They're there to provide advice. Ultimately, they'll do it. But I've always said 100% commitment from both parties. Well, it's a pretty good recipe.
You know what's echoing throughout this interview and throughout Mio and Grace interview and the tour is commonality. And one of the things that's common, you've got to have the willingness. And the beautiful thing about Nevada Help Desk is that we inspire our potential workforce crew, our apprentices, and our students that you have support. When people feel like they don't have support, they can easily give up. You know, New Year's Eve, you have your resolutions, 2 days after New Year's Eve, you go to the gym, you can't find a treadmill. You come back next week, pick any one you want, because they give up.
Yeah, and I want to say on behalf of the Tech Queen Elite Training Institute, and just for our listening audience there, you're hearing two brand names, so let me just give some clarity there. Both of them train, certify, and employ. But the Tech Queen arm is that one that trains. So I want to say on behalf of the Tech Queen Elite Training Institute, we thank you for being here today. And the workforce development arm, which is what Galaxy just referred to, is that arm that gets our graduates out to work in Nevada. And so they're married, speaking of marriage, a long-term married commitment. The two organizations, even though separate, are married in the sense of we train, we certify, and employ or deploy. So either we hire them inside
globally,
or we deploy them out. So on behalf of all of us, we want to say thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Remember, it's Saul, Smooth Ramos. Thank you so much.
Thank
my
you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
My
thank you,
pleasure.
thank you, thank you. All right.